I'll go to Thailand. I'll change the brand that I'm taking. It's alcohol. I'll maybe just take ecstasy, maybe take cocaine. Maybe I just need to smoke this. So I tried every geographical except for just acceptance. And that's the way I felt. I felt lifeless and I didn't want to live. I couldn't live with drugs and I couldn't live without them. And I don't think I had a drug problem. I think drugs and alcohol are only a symptom of drug addicts' problems or addicts.
What are some of your darkest days?
I don't really see them as dark now. My past has become my biggest asset because now I can use this to help people. So regarding any regrets or anything, I wouldn't change it for the world because I wouldn't be the person who harmed the day.
Thank you for joining us. This is our first pilot episode. Today we have Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
Thank you for joining us, Eddie.
You're very welcome.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to get to know you. Pleasure to call you a friend. I've known Eddie for coming up 2 years. We both live in Pattaya, Thailand. He's a businessman. He's got a lot of stories to tell us. He's got a lot of wisdom. The show is called The Comeback Show. So my goal is to inspire anyone that's feeling down, anyone, no matter what position you're at in life, whether you're in prison, you're whatever it is, you can come back. So that's my Northern Star of the show, and Eddie's here to share some of his stories with us and whatever else he's got under his sleeve. So yes, thank you for joining us, Ed. So tell me, I want to ask one question at the start of the podcast. What is stopping you watching this now, what is stopping you from becoming your best self day in and day out? Think deeply about it. Then at the end of the show, we'll ask the question to Eddie and see what ideas he's got and see what we can dive deeper into help you out. So yes. So Eddie, paint a picture for us of the younger version of Eddie Murphy.
Well, basically, a younger version of Eddie Murphy is like what I was talking to you about earlier.
Yes.
A young boy who grew up in the East End of Glasgow, in poverty, with lots of violence, and the East End, it was a place called Easterhouse. And it was a murder capital of Europe.
Okay.
So there were a lot of gang warfare and knives and different things, of violence and neighbours killing neighbours and, fighting over different things. So it was normal. Not a year come out of that. We just thought everybody had that kind of a issue. But as a little boy, I can always remember feeling frightened, but not allowed to show that I was frightened. I was told as a young child, don't cry or I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah.
And what happens in this house stays in this house. Yeah. So all that stuff that I had to, as a wee boy, the pressure that I had on me when people would ask me, how are you, or anything I can help you with or support you with, how are you feeling? I wasn't allowed to say or cry or get upset. So I never cried. I was just a wee boy who, and I grew up, I was dyslexic. I disguised that because I felt ashamed because I thought I was stupid.
I was also grown up as well, and they said to me I was dyslexic. Can you explain a little bit more about that, of dyslexia, and why did they paint you as dyslexic?
Well, they didn't paint me as dyslexic then because there wasn't a diagnosis. I'm a little bit older. So what they done is they put us in a group, and they did the groups of planets, and Jupiter was the smallest planet. So what they done is they put all the stupid people in there and all the smart people in the bigger planets. So we would break up and go into our planets, and all the people that couldn't read and write and do things would sit in this group and work together as a group.
How old was he then?
Maybe 5, 6.
Okay.
It's maybe they've just noticed things in us. They've noticed things in there weren't any dyslexia thing diagnosis then.
Yeah.
So then what happened is I got into primary 3 to, I would start going down to the head teacher's office, a big line of people, and you would go down and have a half hour with them, and they lined everybody up, and people would go into dining schools and go, that's the stupid people.
Yeah.
So you had to sit with the stupid people.
Yeah.
So what happened then was with me, because I was trying to disguise that, I spent a lot of time being the class clown.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And I spent a lot of time outside in the corridor facing the walls, and a lot of chalkboards getting hit off my head. And you know, and on my report cards, every one of them, it would say Eddie's easily distracted. You know, and there were even when I got to the corridor outside, I used to get put in a room. It wasn't getting used with an old piano and they kept the tuck shop in it and a sewing machine. So they would move me from the corridor to there. And I quite liked it in there. I used to just pretend that the sewing machine was a motorbike, just playing on it, because it was easier for me to be there than what it was to be in the class trying to disguise this. So I accepted this is where I was meant to be, isolated in a cupboard. So I would spend most of the days, school teachers put me in a cupboard out of the way, but I would eat all the cookies and the crisps and play on that. So I didn't see it as a punishment. I see it as a relief.
Can you go through, touch on some of the actions you feel that influence you to be in the less smart group?
Well, some of the actions, I don't really think that, I don't know what it was, but I can always remember when they would give you the paper, and back then you had to put a line down and put your name and then write things. But I couldn't write the days and the dates, and everybody else could do it. Do you know what I mean? So what I would used to do if somebody wasn't at school, I would take theirs and pretend it was mine, because I wanted to know what to do. But as I got older, the people would not go into certain classes at school. You know, they would go around the smoker's shed, so people would begin to smoke cigarettes, and so all the people who were there, rather than me getting into school, I really, really wanted to be smart, and I had all these. I didn't grow up thinking I was going. I didn't think I wanted to be a fireman. I just didn't think that was possible. I didn't think I wanted to be a drug addict either, or in jail. I didn't think that. I just wanted to do something in my life and didn't have any direction. But I didn't want to. I wanted to be in school learning and applying myself, but I thought I was stupid, and I thought I'd be smart enough for me to hide it. So I learned to talk because I couldn't put it down. So when I would hang about round the back of the smokers, there were people in it who would sit in dog school, who was in the smokers, were quite capable and smart.
Yeah.
And I used to sit and look at them and think, see, if I was you, I would be in there. You know, but I could never say to them that I'm only here because I don't know what I'm doing out there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What I'm trying to get at, what was some of the influences the bad influences that didn't help you grow as that in that age?
What do you mean the bad influences?
So I know, like you mentioned, like you didn't have the best parents to support you.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Well, my parents were only young, and you know, my dad was a bully. My dad was physically and mentally bullied me. You know, I took a lot of cold baths and belts and all that off him as I got older.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I got abuse for when I started getting into solvents, because as I was saying, when I was at school, I always felt different. But when I went to in the class, I felt different. And when I was hanging about these people that weren't attending school, I felt different because some of them were smart. So when they offered you a draw of marijuana or a stiff of the Tipex thinner, it just took all the feelings away. So I'd found a new escape again. So the Tipex thinner and the marijuana was another thing where I'm thinking, oh, what's this? A bit of comfort and ease.
Yeah.
I feel part of this now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So hit on your home life.
Home life, grew up in a house, poverty, didn't have much. Nobody had much. Sometimes we would have no electricity. My dad would be stealing electricity off the street using the street lights. Yeah. You know, and you had to go down the stair and ask. I always remember having to ask the neighbours for. My mum says if you get a wee bowl of sugar or some milk, and she'll give you it back on Tuesday. And I could, even back then, I could see how my wee mind would go. I would go to school and see come the Tuesday, I would go around the back way, because I'd be doing all my friends thinking and that family's thinking, saying, my mum's not paid that milk back. And the shame I would feel. So I would have all this, a wee boy with all that pressure and all that fear. And probably my mum's met that woman and spoke to her and she's got that. But my wee mind, where I was told not to share nothing. And to be quiet. So everything was all compressed down. So the substance was becoming like to deal with I'm going to be all right. And thank God for the substance. I always say to myself, thank God for them, because they were an escape for me. You know, I think I might, because what was happening to me as young, my parents noticed things in me, and I don't really share this a lot, but as a child, when I used to get disciplined and battered from my father, I used to go into the room. My dad would hit us with belts,
Yeah.
but I would hide all the belts
Oh yeah.
because he'd have them here and have them there, because I knew that what's next for him, you know. And so when I tied the belts in my room, but he'd have loads of them. So after the bet you with the belts, you'd have it on. So you'd had to get into class and you'd have big belt marks and having
What's some of the reasons that you used to belt you for?
sniffing glue, maybe.
Oh really?
Sniffing glue.
What age was that?
Maybe 8 or 9. You know what I mean? Sniffing glue and maybe staying out and you're no meant to or no coming back. And then my dad actually, it's like, I don't know if I spoke about it. The first ever drug I took was that. Before that was
No,
on here.
you haven't mentioned it.
Well, the first ever drug I ever took was I was saying earlier on was Benylin.
Yeah.
And that was my mother that gave me that. And she didn't give me it to get me stoned. My dad was alcoholic, and my dad was one of these mad persons that was into football and violence. So you could hear him coming along the street first. It'd be hell, hell. So my mum didn't drink.
Yeah.
And so she was stuck at 17 or 18 with 2 veins in the house. So the first thing she would do was give us a couple of spoonfuls of Benylin to try and make us sleep, to protect us for what was going to happen, because there were always violence and, you know. So when she gave me that, I just felt something like the Ready Brek kid. I'd found something. So that's what I chased.
How long was you having that? How long was she giving you that for?
Well, I was taking it myself.
Okay, so
she was only giving me that.
She gave you the taster.
She gave me the taster, and I would go looking for it, and I'd be going like that, and I would drink it, and I could feel the warmth, the comfort, the love, the ease, the ease that I just wanted. You know, it was like, I knew it was trauma pain. It was dealing with the trauma. So that was something that I chased all through my life. That was the first bit of comfort, because I'd never cuddled or been told by my parents that they loved me and I loved them. You know, the only time they'd touch me was when they were violent. You know.
So there's a big lack of love.
Yeah, well, what I really feel, I'm not sure, what I really sad, I used to think before the drugs were there, I used to think I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
And it was all about self-centeredness. It wasn't really about that. It was just about trying to let my parents know this is how you're making me feel. But I've been told not to tell people how I feel. So my best ideas at maybe 10-year-old was to maybe hang myself, and then they'll come in and they'll see me. I didn't want to die. I just wanted to let them know. I just wanted to let them know, look as how yous are making me feel. Yeah. But I know that was nothing to do with him. That was all about self-centeredness and about me trying to control them. Do you know what I mean? But so thank God drugs came along, because they thought it started going, and it was like, just look for the stuff that's going to give you comfort and ease to deal with the trauma, the pain. Do you know what I mean? And it was normal for everybody around about me was doing it. Do you know what I mean? Most people where I stayed.
Like, it sounds like they didn't, obviously, like I said, the lack of love, but was there anything with your parents that they actually did support you in and did give you any sort of hope or encouragement?
Well, my mum and dad ended up coming to the 12-step programme later on in my life, and that's how I got. So they get help. My mum's a Christian, and that's how they changed their life. And as an example of them, that's how I became. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So was it you that first went to AA and then they come?
No, they went. So they get help, because they were only young. So by the time they get help, because my mum didn't drink, she became a Christian. My dad was alcoholic, but by the time he get help, I was so messed in drugs. You know what I mean? He was getting better, and I was already sick. So he's changed his life, and he's trying to deal with, you know, with me.
And was there a big difference in him trying to just be a better person?
He didn't know how to, but I found out a lot of stuff about my own father, because I used to think how if I had a son like me, I would have treated, because my son, I constantly tell him I love him, and we're close and we're tight and all that, but he's never told me I love him, and I never told him. You know, he's never put his hands on me, and because we'd never shot. You know what I mean? We were never taught that way. You know, and if I would get into the house, even as a child, when I grew up as an adult, I was still full of resentment with that man, because he used to bully me and beat me up, you know, and nobody knew. My dad could control me. So I could come in a house and my dad was there and 6 other people was there. So if I wanted to do something, and you asked me, I would need to look over to my dad, and my dad would give it the nod. And it was like Morse code. He could control me with facial expressions.
Yeah.
And there weren't any of that AHDD and do what you want. It was just absolutely terrified. His faces jump. You didn't ask how high, you just started jumping.
What was his parents like?
Well, that's what I'm going to talk about. He had a worse life than me.
Okay.
Go on. He was brought up in another part in East End, and he's got like 8 brothers or something like that and 4 sisters.
Yep.
And he was the 3rd eldest. And his father got murdered in front of him with his best friend.
Yeah.
Up the stairs on Christmas Day. So he was left to take care of all the young. So they were all worse than me with the trauma and the poverty, because it's like years before it. So he was left to fend with him. He was alcoholic, and 80% of them ended up drug addicts, and he was left to, his childhood was gone. He had to just become like a sergeant major and just provide, with crime, and provide with everything, be the da, do you know what I mean? Because he was all just kind of a boy. And so I didn't know this. And then later on, my dad's dead now. He's been dead for nearly 10 years. But after talking to him and talking to my mum, finding out, and even he went into children's homes and all that, and it was sexually abused and all that as well. So there were a lot of stuff that I thought my life was bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I played a victim. What did you do to me? And I think the best painkiller that I could have ever swallowed was forgiveness. Because as a wee boy, my dad used to have a big beard like that. And I always looked at him as having this big beard and a scary man, because I was always small and he was always kind of a big and scary. But as I went on to my adult life, I remember when I decided that I was going to forgive my dad and let it go, and he did his best.
Why did you have that sense of urgency then?
It was in the 12-step program about making amends. And then I looked at my part, you know what I mean, and things. And I seen that he did his best, rather than me playing the victim, because I've learned that victims don't make it.
No.
Because victims stay in the problem.
Yes.
And I don't say that to offend anybody.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get offended when you say that. And what I just mean is, you need to move on for the incident.
Yeah, well, you're not holding no power. If you're pointing the finger at everyone else, you can't. It's really hard to do something if you don't take responsibility.
Yeah. So I had to swallow that painkiller and forgive him. Not for him, for me.
Yes.
And something happened. Something happened when the next time I seen him, I was with my friends, and I looked at him, and I got this. I said, my dad worked in Celtic Park, and everybody would tell him he was a great guy. My dad hadn't touched me or put his hand on me, like physically, since I was a child, but 15, 20 years have went by. Okay. But I'm still full of resentment because of what he's done to me, and my upbringing and all that, and everybody else is telling me he's a good guy. Do you know what I mean?
So what I want to ask you is why, I know he changed later on in his life. He made a comeback, okay? But I know, like you said, his dad didn't. Why does some people, they don't make the comeback?
They don't make a comeback. I think basically everybody's different. It's like you need to be ready. There's a surrender. Do you know what I mean? I remember being in different prisons and young offenders and all that, and saying I was ready. It was like I was talking about. I got lots of people contacting me and asking me for help, and the phone goes quite usually Sunday night or a Monday morning. You'll get a message on Facebook saying I'm done
for the party
and I need help. I need help. Can you help me? And I'm like, aye, blah blah blah. There's a meeting. You can go here. No, I'm definitely going. Contact them on Tuesday. I've had a wee bowl of soup and a bottle of Lucozade, and I think I'm really all right. And I think I'll maybe come next week. They're good places, but they're not for you.
The pain. Sunday, they're all, the pains. They're hungover. They're on a come down. The pain's fresh. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you recovered. You're like, oh, the urgency's not there.
But usually that's the cocaine addicts and alcoholics. You know what I mean? The bingers. But when you're dealing with like heroin addicts, they're done. They're completely done, or they're just maintaining the pain. Some people just get that much trauma. And there's two. I actually I was back home and I had a friend I was helping, and he had a heroin problem, methadone problem. I took him to a conference thing, and there was a guy who was a cocaine addict giving him advice. How he was only like 2 days coming off of heroin and methadone, and this guy's giving him advice what to do, to go and do cold water and go and do this and do that. And I was like, I ended up saying to him, have you ever took heroin? It's like, no. I went, have you ever took methadone? No. I says, what did you take? He went, cocaine. I went, it's a total different beast.
Yeah.
You're coming off, don't give people advice where you've no experience. I went, that guy has to do a big hard jobby first before he does anything. He's just had to change his underpants in the toilet because he had diarrhea because the opiates,
Okay.
it makes you just go to the toilet. So he's telling them all this stuff to do this. And so that's why drug addicts like heroin addicts have to go for detox because it's like having a flu and having diarrhea. But this guy's giving him advice, and I've already kind of sat with this guy for 2 days. But the guy's like, I'm not. I says, I know you're not trying to be, and you're trying to help. I says, but sometimes if you've not got the experience, it's all right not to know. Because I used to tell people things because I heard people saying that's what you do. But if I've not got any experience, I'll say, I'll go and see him or go see her. You know, it's like me trying to tell a pregnant woman I know what they're going through. I really don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what actions did you have to make to like through that 12 steps?
What action would you mean?
How did you recover and how did you rise up?
Well,
again?
the first step is it's a bit of diagnosis, your self-diagnosis. All my life I'd been in prisons and in houses and social workers and probation officers, and they'd all be sitting round about talking, and they'd be talking as if I wasn't there. They would just want to give me medication. So I just let them talk, and they would just say maybe it comes from his dad's side, his mum's side, and blah, blah, blah. So everybody was diagnosing me, telling me this is what's wrong with me. But I was quite just happy, like, okay, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Whatever you're giving me. But for the first time in my life when I went to meetings, people started talking about themselves. But I thought people told them about me and told them to talk about me. You know what I mean? And then people told me, you're not that important, Eddie. You know what I mean? We're only here. And then I started listening. And then the first step talks about accepting that you're an addict and an alcoholic and you can't manage your life. So that took me a while to accept that. Because
taking responsibility from where you are.
Just accepting that I can't take it. It took I 5 or I was like going on rounds with Tyson. You know what I mean? It's like I'll get 30 days and then I go, I'm all right now, and I just swapped places. I'll go to Thailand. It's this place. I'll change the brand I'm taking. It's alcohol. I'll maybe just take ecstasy, maybe take cocaine, maybe I just need to smoke this. Maybe it's her fault. So I tried every geographical and everything that except for just acceptance. And acceptance was the last one after I'd been so accepting that I can't take one of anything. And that isn't just the main problem. I need to continue to go to these 12-step fellowships, which I've seen other people who you spoke about. You're here to inspire people, even when finding out what that word meant, to inspire somebody to breathe life into them. And that's the way I felt. I felt lifeless and I didn't want to live. I couldn't live with drugs and I couldn't live without them. And I don't think I had a drug problem. I think drugs and alcohol are only a symptom of drug addicts' problems or addicts. You know, we just turn to different things.
That's what's going on inside.
Yeah. So they're only symptoms. You know, I had a problem living life, and drugs helped me to deal with my life. But then they turned on me when I wanted to stop. I couldn't. You know, they helped me. They gave me the confidence. They gave me what I wanted. I'm the man, and you know. And then it just was me isolated in a house. You know what I mean? And then not happy on the drugs. And then when I try and go to the meetings, but not happy without the drugs, and thinking about killing myself the same way I was when I was that wee boy. So that's when I had to do the 12 steps. Because there's a difference between real drug addicts and drug abusers. So see, if I was just a drug abuser, I could just put the drugs down and change my circumstances, my job, my wife and that, and maybe think it was just a bad period I went through in my life. Well, no, but a drug addict is what I'm talking about. You take the drugs away, they're not happy on drugs, and they're not even happy after them, and they're suicidal. So that's why the 12 steps are for the people who need a spiritual solution. Because they say that this condition is a spiritual sickness, and it can only be treated with a spiritual solution. So it's not a religious thing, it's a spiritual thing. So, because I just wasn't into the whole religious thing, because I'd brought up in you know, in a place in East End of Glasgow where you had Protestants and Catholics where people were getting murdered at a football match. One was a Catholic, one was a Protestant. You're watching people getting stabbed and slashed,
Yeah.
and buses getting smashed and people dying, and to do with religion. Do you know what I mean? So I just wasn't into religion. I didn't want to entertain religion because I thought it brought violence. And
When you say spiritual and religion,
well,
was that it's love, isn't it?
well, do you know what? The most spiritual thing I can do today is to give you an hour of my time.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's probably the most spiritual thing I'll do.
Yeah.
Or same when I go to a meeting.
Yeah.
That's spiritual. What I'd had to learn that my problem wasn't alcohol and drugs. My problem was I'm selfish and self-centred.
Okay.
And what I mean by self-centred is I'm constantly thinking about myself. And then when I take drugs and alcohol or food or exercise,
Yeah.
it takes me away from self.
Okay.
You know, but there's some healthier options. Exercise I don't want to continue for 15 weeks and no stop at all.
Yeah.
You know, eating I might binge out and do that and get relief. But with the drugs there's consequences. You know.
What are some of the practical exercises that helped you recreate yourself?
Well, it took me a long time because I thought it was education I needed,
Okay.
which was very important,
Yeah.
you know, and I thought it was a job and a girlfriend and muscles and a suntan and a business, you know.
Which I'm sure all those help.
Well, it did help, but what I did is 10 years into it, I did all this stuff
Okay.
and I wanted to throw myself off a top of a condo and I
you was
wasn't
clean.
happy
And you was
and I was clean,
Yeah.
you know, because I was trying to fix myself with outside stuff. But it was an inside job that I needed to fix first.
Yes.
But now having that stuff and being okay in the inside, you can enjoy that.
Oh, totally. I always, like, from I started investing in myself, everything else around me and inside me just starts to build.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the 12-step program is a great thing for, it's all about accepting that you've got a problem. You know, the next step is deciding, do you want help in the problem, where to find it? And then the third step is making a decision. And then
Tell us a little bit about what you do with, because you help others now.
Yeah,
get
yeah.
off drugs.
Well, that's the first thing I teach you is to help people.
Yeah.
Because I say to you, I'm selfish and self-centered. So the root of my problem is selfishness, you see.
Okay.
So what is the total opposite of selfishness? So if I want to get to this, selfless. So that's
Yes.
why I help people.
Okay.
And I get to escape.
Yes.
The same way I escape for drugs and when I exercise, I get to escape.
Yeah.
So when I put my horn out to somebody, I think less of myself. You know?
Yeah.
So that's one of the practices what you get in the 12-step. But you can have fellowship, and I'd love the people to know in Pattaya. There's so many people that come and approach me, and they don't realise that there's so much help in Pattaya. No, you have many 12-step meetings. It's available for people who have problem with alcohol, drugs. You know, there's I've got a good fellowship of people here who are all clean and sober and exercise. I've also got a good fellowship of people who do drink, and it doesn't mean that your life's over.
No.
You know, I still go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, if this was all about being able to do the things and enjoy your life, I wouldn't have been Pattaya. I'd be locked in a house and saying, no, I can't go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? But there's some practices that you get taught in the 12-step program. It's all about examining yourself at night. You know, it's a 10-step. Doing an examination. Have I got any resentments? Have I harmed anybody today? Do I owe any amends? You know? And then on awakening, I wake up and I do my meditation.
How do you meditate?
Me, I do different forms. Sometimes I'll get different guided meditations. I'll do a Qigong meditation. Sometimes I'm actually trained to be an Detox practitioner, but I don't use it. It was only when I worked in that field.
Okay.
Mary, for me, meditation is just about listening. You know what I mean? And some prayer as well. Prayer is about, you know, just asking for, you know, this. And I've learned that for me, I believe in God, but I don't believe in God's outside us. I believe that God's inside us, and that's where I need to go. And the rest of the program, what I'm talking about, see this busy mind I've had all my life. Way I can explain it is, let's see one of the buzzing fridges.
Yes.
I always had one of them, and I still get that today.
Yeah.
27,
always chasing.
27 years a day, I can still, and I've realised that I'm no my thinking. And I've realised that this addiction lives in me and it doesn't go anywhere. That's people's problem. That's why they go back out and get drunk and full of drugs again, because they think it's gone. And when you've got this, I don't mean you're an addict for life. Once a junkie, always. What I mean is the thinking. Everybody's got this thinking, you know.
Yeah.
and I have to disconnect from my thinking. It's the same as sometimes when Elvis Presley comes on in my motor and it's fucking car in a trap.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'm Elvis Presley, but I'm not really Elvis Presley. Do you know what I mean? It's a radio, and my mind's a bit like that. When I meditate, I can disconnect from it and realise that I'm no my mind, because my mind's either in the future, full of fear that something's not going to work out. You know what I mean? Or it's in the past, about regret, shame, you're letting people down, who wants to be with you, you know, and they talk about, I've spoke to you regarding the Edgar Toll stuff I love about the power of now, the power in that, and sometimes even that's too much for me. If I get a difficult day, I break it up into 3, get through the morning, get through the afternoon, and that's the way I got through when I first got clean and sober. Don't use a day. And then that turned into 20 odd years ago. And, do you know what I mean?
Small steps.
Aye. And it's more normal for me to be, don't get me wrong, I still look at it and I think that'd be nice to get a big glass of wine.
When's the last drink you did have?
Well, it was probably over 27 years ago.
Really?
Not doing alcohol.
Wow.
Aye. So,
well done.
but it does look appealing, because everybody likes an escape, but I still have the same issues with chocolate. Do you know what I mean? It's the same symptoms there. I got 2 bars of chocolate back for Scotland that somebody gave me for me and my girlfriend. So I've told her about them. And I went, there's that chocolate there. And I put it in and I've ate mine. And hers is still lying there for 2 days, man. And I'm like, fucking hell, man. And I went in, took one bit.
Yes.
And then I've took another bit. And so she decided that, you know, she wants to have her chocolate now a week later. And then she's like at me, where is my chocolate? And the first thing I done was I came out with lies. You know, I gave it to the security and the dog. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a story in Dopamine Nation. A woman eats their children's chocolate and she lies about it. She lies to them, and then like the children still hold on to it to this day. But she did tell them the truth after a week.
I ended up,
do you know what I mean?
I ended up saying her I ate it. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry. So that's what I would do if I'd done something like that. That would probably affect my consciousness. So when I do an inventory, then I would say, have you been dishonest? You know what I mean? Or have you told any lies? Do you owe an amends? And if I do, then I'll put it down and I'll go and try. And sometimes I don't, and I just hopefully it goes away. But it affects.
Still holding on to you like a little monkey on your back.
Fridge is there.
Yes.
Totally. And I don't like living with a buzzing fridge, because what I try and do is I try and find things to quiet that buzzing fridge down.
Totally. Sorry to cut you, but I've got a great one. I've been scared of the dentist for years and years and years. And the other day, I just had enough. Like for 2-3 weeks, I was like, right, I've got to get this. I've got root still. Like, went to take a tooth out and he didn't take it out. And I said, right, I've got to get this because I know it's not helping my health. Like I'm eating and it's painful. And I just went, I done it, and like it was like I scored a goal at like Sunday League or won a big pot of money, and I felt so like relieved over the past couple of weeks. And then like, but what else is holding me back? What else do I keep meaning to do? Well, I've been thinking about starting a podcast, and I need to do more talking on camera because I want to impact the world and share what I have. And here I am,
living a dream.
You know, so yes,
lost dreams awakening.
So I challenge you to write down a list of your fears, not the fears that you know that are bad for you, the fears that you know that will evolve you into becoming your best self. Okay, so next question. What are some of your darkest days? What are the days that you look back now and you go, oh my God, I'm so glad, I'm proud of myself from where I've come from to where I am now?
I think basically just I don't really see them as dark now. My past has become my biggest asset, because now I can use this to help people.
Yes.
So regarding any regrets or anything, I wouldn't change it for the world, because I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
Totally. And that takes me back to another point that I want to get through to the podcast, is exactly what you've just said there, is Ed, is like all the problems and all the challenges that I've gone through in my life have helped me evolve into the person that I am. So I don't look at challenges and problems as negatives. Like I want bigger problems because they've helped me become the person I am now.
And then when you're going in the past, it's dishonesty. Because when you start thinking about the stuff, the dark stuff, what happened, what it did, it's like, well, wait a minute, there's nothing in there because it's all lies. You know what I mean? It's gone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, so once you just accept it and use it, you know, it's happened, you don't deny it. So once you've got this, it's like me saying to a pregnant woman, I understand you and I help you. So now I use that experience to try and inspire somebody rather than before I used to try and hide it for interviews and people and what I've got, but now it's become a tool. You know, but I won't just tell everybody it. Do you know what I mean? It's I'll take an opportunity if I feel that somebody is wanting help.
Well, are there any stories that you feel that the world would it'd be valuable to the world to know?
Just I think valuable is basically there's help out there. You know what I mean? There's help for people because what's happening, and for me, it's the thing you're getting all these kind of life coaches and different things that is like helping people and things like that. And there's got lots of treatment centres, but some people just haven't got the finances for that because what happens is with people, their money goes on drugs and alcohol. And I know that the most spiritual thing I can do is give somebody my time. But when you go to the 12-step meetings, it's absolutely fun and for free.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? So that's what I would like to people to know. That
how can they get involved in that?
Well, they can just go on the website and find it. Do you know what I mean? You've got Narcotics Anonymous, you've got Alcoholics Anonymous and Pattaya, but you've also got it all over the world. I can go anywhere in the world, India. You know, we've got a big conference coming up. We've got people from Pakistan, Canada, America, all different places all over the world come to talk. So I could go there and reach out. It's like it's a fellowship, and they'll put me up, they'll support me, they'll help me. So it's everywhere. So people don't know about it. People think this all costs money, you know, but it's for fun and it's for free. And there's no professionals, and your own anonymity is protected, which what I like. You know, I can blow my own anonymity because I'm self-employed and I have different businesses, and some people like doctors and, you know, different professions where they need to protect it. So don't think that you go to these places and everybody, you know, I'm only telling that I go there and it's transformed my life as a result, and it's given me a power in my life to give me so much better life for the stuff that I've got and the stuff that I do.
How long did it take you to recover?
I don't think physically I'm never going to recover.
Okay.
You know, because I'd probably get worse if I'd probably crave drugs more than what I did when I was younger, because like anything, any illness that you've got, it gets worse by age because your body stops producing the enzymes and the acetones and the stuff. So the craving would be much more. So I don't think physically recovered, but I've recovered mentally when it comes to alcohol and drugs. So I can see the truth.
How long did, because like you said,
well,
it
didn't happen. I still had an idea that I could use one day secretly in the back of my mind, but not I went through the 12-step program. It smashed that illusion I've got. You know what I mean? And still to this day, when I'm not doing all my practices, I have that idea that it comes back. I don't think I'll ever recover. I think I've just learned to live with this.
But you've done a flip on your life.
Oh, my life's totally changed, but people just think you just put down the drugs and you wake up one day and you decide I'm going to stop. No.
But like, how long did it take you to feel like, oh wow, I feel so much better?
All right, well, probably I felt better after like 90 days or something, 3 months. I felt physically better, but I think that can be dangerous and all, because the good thing about recovery is you get better, and the bad thing, you get better. You know, I was in a better place when my mass was on fire. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I need help. After 3 months, I knew everything. And I don't need any help anymore. And that's what they say about recovery as well. The good thing about recovery is you get your feelings back. And the bad thing about recovery is you get your feelings back. So I had to learn to feel feelings instead of trying to suppress them with drugs.
Sometimes, like, you celebrate, don't you? You feel like, oh,
I deserve it. I pat the back. I'm a man.
Yeah, let's have a treat.
Well, that's what they talk about. It's like
relapse.
That's that Elvis Presley thing that I'm talking about. And if I've not got a 12-step program and fellowship to go to meetings to talk about that, because see, when I go and share my truth, people can relate and identify, because I still get that. But what I've done, it's not went away. It comes maybe when I'm not doing all the right things. Well, you know, if I'm not doing my practices and I'm wrapped up in myself and I'm selfish. So that's not went away. But what I've done is just accepted it. You know what I mean? And I learned to live with it. and it gets that loud, I think I'll go and do these practices again because it's.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll start day chocolate and day sex and day
Yeah.
everything else to try and. I'll no do drugs, but if I continue that way, I do believe that drugs and alcohol would be an option again. So what I need to do is get back on track. It's like when you stop training, get back on track again and get spiritually fit the same way you get physically fit. You know what I mean?
Totally. Why do so many people want to escape their current lives?
What do you mean, their feelings or their lives?
Their lives.
Well, your life is made basically, if you think about your will and your life as your actions, you know what I mean? So you can, like I was talking about, you do all these geographicals. I've went to all different countries, and then when I got to the countries, I've looked in the mirror, and guess who's there? Me, in the same country, with all the same feelings, and just the same problems with a bit of sunshine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you take all your problems with you,
Yes,
no
yes,
matter
yes,
where
yes,
you are,
yes,
because
yes,
you
yes.
can be in the most beautiful. I see people in the most beautiful country they know in the world, and they're demented.
Yes.
You-
And
'cause-
bank full, they're loaded, they've got the money,
I know.
but here and
It's-
inside here
yeah.
isn't loaded.
Sometimes money's worse when you're using drugs and alcohol. It's like driving a
You've got
car.
more
When,
opportunities to.
driving a car when it breaks. You know what I mean? At least when you money, you need to stop and maybe start stealing and think about
Loads more
consequences.
options.
It's like I've seen the people in a worse condition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
With that.
Yeah. Talk to me about how powerful you feel the human mind is.
Well, I believe that each person is made up mentally, physically, and spiritually. You know what I mean? So I try and look after all aspects of my life. Mentally, you know, I do the 12-step program to try and deal with that buzzing fridge that I live with. Spiritually, I try and help people and practice some of the things. You know what I mean?
That helps you.
That helps me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And spiritually, you know, physically, mentally, and spiritually. You know, physically, I look after myself. I like to exercise because I believe that we only get one body.
Yeah.
And we only get one chance. Because
you've
I've
just got
abused
one-
my body for a long time, and now I like to
there's
take
just
care of
one relationship you've got with yourself. You in that relationship for the rest of your day.
it. Yeah.
So the more you look after your body, the more you look after your mind, your soul.
You need them all because I've had
better you're gonna be with
you can
yourself.
be in the best shape. I've seen look at Joe and all these.
Oh,
Look,
totally.
you can in the best shape in the world, but absolutely demented.
Yeah.
And you're no good enough.
Yeah.
And you can't appreciate it. It's like me, I could be driving along in a Ferrari and thinking I've landed, and then somebody arrives next to me in a helicopter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I go, oh, fucking, I want one of them. Everybody thinks I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? See if you're no right with everything.
Yeah.
So the best body, the best car, the best house, but can all be good and well. But if you're no well spiritually, you can't appreciate this stuff and can't enjoy it because somebody's always get better than you, or you're frightened that somebody's going to come and take it off you at some point, or you can't enjoy it because you think you don't deserve it.
Yeah, so it sounds like instead of having the ambition to have many material things, have the ambition to be the best person you can be. And it's hard to not get dividends and not get received in return for the effort you put in.
But I believe that I used to be ashamed of the stuff that I've achieved.
Oh, really?
Because I come for nothing. You know what I mean? And I used to think people think I was showing off.
Oh, okay.
But I've learned that I'm a child of God and God wants the best for me.
Yeah.
You know, God wants me to have a nice house with a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And he wants me to have a nice car and he wants me to have a nice motorbike. He wants me to have a nice girlfriend.
But do you not think it inspires people as well?
Aye, I think it's good bait. It's bait to attract people.
Yeah.
But what I'm more
There's two types in
I
there.
find it
There's
quite.
two types of people
I
in there.
find it quite sad because see when people, especially women in Pattaya, they don't say hello to you or don't entertain you, but then they see you in your motor and they see your house and you see different things, they become more.
You're attracted them. They're attracted them.
I mean the money, you know what I mean, which is makes me feel quite pathetic. Where you think, oh, no, how can you know? No, and people respect money more here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I respect money and give it to do what it's meant to be, but everybody's got a voice and everybody's important, do you know what I mean? And it's, you know, but we all want to have nice stuff. But what I'm saying is I can enjoy my nice stuff instead of being ashamed of it. You know what I mean? And I can enjoy that having what I've got is enough instead of thinking I want more. Because when I'm no right, it isn't big enough and I want more. You know what I mean? So it's took me a while. It's took me a while to just enjoy and accept and pat myself in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So just touch on that. Why do you feel that a lot of the females in Pattaya are so money hungry?
For me, I just think that it's poverty. It's another symptom, the same as my poverty. Do you know what I mean? But they've got a different kind of poverty. I believe that there's some of them are rich and spiritually. Do you know what I mean? They've got how their families. They've got this relationship with their family that I would never have.
Yes.
And I get jealous of that. They all sit together, close together, all live together. You know, they've got something that I've not got. So everybody's got some kind of spiritual sickness. It's like you come to Thailand and you see them want to have white skin, right? They inject themselves to have white skin. You go to UK, they've got had tannin intolerance for years. People injecting themselves and they want to be brown. And the Thai people don't want to be brown because they see it as poverty. And the Europeans want to have a tan because they see it as being rich. Do you know what I mean? So it's all just a bit of a spiritual thing. And you go to the Thais want to have a big nose to look like a foreigner. Foreigners want to get a nose job to look smaller. And I think everybody wants to be something else, something different. Yeah. So I think once you accept yourself and love yourself for who you are, then you know, especially what's happening now with this media stuff and internet, people are looking at things. That's the way I should look, and that's the way you know what I mean. Even my son, I worry about my son with the computers. It's took over his life. You know what I mean? It's like it's a different generation where I can't relate to it. Do you know what I mean?
There's a statement from, I think it's Eckhart Tolle. He says, "Want what you have.
Enjoy
whatever you have. Want that." And obviously, search for you. Keep your desires in the back of your mind, but want what you currently have.
Right.
What are some of the books and mentors and teachers that have mostly impacted your life?
Well, I'm a lot of YouTube stuff because I've got dyslexia, so thank God for YouTube. Do you know what I mean? So reading, I've got free books a day in the morning. So in our meetings we've got books or daily reflections. And it's about meditation. So it's on awakening. I've got on my book, it will tell me to think about the next 24 hours ahead. What's my plans for the day? You know, so I'll think about just 24 hours.
Very present.
And there's another old alcoholic priest, Brennan Manning, that I've spoken about. I love that man because I had these preconceived ideas about what God was, you know, and I thought because the life that I lived and that he spoke, God, when you want to know me, you know, you needed to be doing these certain things. So this old alcoholic priest talks about the unconditional love of God and how that you can't earn God's love, that you've already got God's love, you know. So for me, God even loves me more when I was in my madness. And if somebody had asked me, do you think God loves you more with all the best things you're doing in your life and everything you're doing and proud of you? I say, aye, but you know what? God loved you more when you were even in your darkness because all he wanted to do was spend time with you in the morning. You wake up, meditation. So he gave me this idea because I had these ideas that you had to be doing certain things. And it's like my son has got my love no matter what. And that's what I was taught, that God loves me exactly the way I'm at. No the ideas the way I think I'm at. Because that comes with that buzz and fridge thing. It tries to block me for God and block me for the power. So he's another guy, Brennan Manning. Edgar Tolle, he talks about the power of now. I love that, you know, because I do believe that he talks about the future and the past, because in the future causes stress and it causes all the organs to contract, and that's what causes cancers and you name it, and you know, so it makes them all contract and causes that, and that's why he talks about the power of now. And there's absolutely, and if I can say today, the reason why I say, if I'm honest, I'm dishonest. And what I mean is, my mentor has taught me if I'm living in the past, I'm living in dishonesty. Because my mind constantly takes me in the past about what's happened to me or what shouldn't happen. Or even if I'm living in the future, I'm living in dishonesty. So that's my biggest character defect. You know, my dishonesty and my selfishness. So, because if I'm in the future, it's not true because it's not happened. I'm only creating it.
Yeah, and you're losing focus with what you have now.
Aye.
So you lose, if you're working, you're losing focus. You could be doing that job better.
Aye.
You know, you could be enjoying the scenery when you're walking down the road more. You know, just be more present.
But it's show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You know what I mean? That's why I think it's a
it's a big change when you do that, isn't it?
It's a very, very important thing for, especially in Pattaya or anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I just watch it. You know what I mean? You can be
Yeah.
stuck to one of these bars like that with a big
Yeah.
fucking fat belly, drinking, and looking down at Thai people for begging money. Do you know what I mean? For drinks. You know what I mean? So it's like be who you pick your friends, the people you're around with is very, very important.
Yeah.
That's
Well, you want to be hanging around with people that you like, you want to be like,
inspired you.
you know,
Even somebody you can lift up.
Yeah, both same way.
You know
Yes,
what I mean?
that wants to listen.
Yeah.
That wants to engage with you and are receptive to what you're trying to give
when
them.
I was back home a few years ago, I spent around a lot of people who are very, very wealthy and a lot of business orientated and self-made. You know what I mean? And I didn't plan it that way. I just planned it. That's who I was running about, and it turned out that I got an education, but in amongst that, I was still running about the broken people. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And most of my time now is round about the broken people. People come to me when they need help for things. And sometimes I feel like, when am I going to get help? But I don't realise that they are my help.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get half across here. The victims don't make it. We need the wood. Do you know what I mean? They're my help.
Yeah.
You know.
What are some of the one-liners, quotes, or statements that still resonate with you today? That like, if you like, you're feeling dreary or like low on energy. That
Well, I've got what's a very, very good one for me. Sometimes I used to open my mouth and say stuff and say, "What did I say that for?" Or something. I would do something and say, "What did I do that for?" So sometimes for the best thing for me to do, if in doubt, saying out.
Okay.
If in doubt, doing out.
Okay.
I've never seen anybody get into bother for saying nothing or doing nothing, because I didn't even like silences. See, if something went silence, I would just make up something.
Yeah.
But now I really enjoy silences.
Yeah.
Because I like the peace. You know, I hated silence.
Yeah.
Because it was like plugging me into the wall. It was like, oh, but now I love quiet time. You know, I love just. So, but there's loads I could come out with. I've learned so many. Do you know what I mean? It just depending on, you know, where I'm at. This too shall pass. You know, think. You know, different wee things that you know. But that's a really good one. You know, is show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You know what I mean? And today I used to admire people like the loud and aggressive people and people that made money quick and fast and rich. They don't admire. I don't admire that. I mean, I admire the guy who gets up in the morning. See, even some of these Thai people that got up and they work from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night and they provide for their family. It's a bit like that Bronx Tale, man. That bit makes me really emotional. Where he sees the boy and the guy's going into the cafeteria because he's Sonny, the gangster, and he's making more money. He's daft for driving the bus.
Okay.
And he slaps him. He says, "Your dad's a real man. He works in the bus." He says that, but people love you. You know, the working man, the working guy gets up. I used to look at my window and see people going to work, their fathers, and I go, "What are they doing? Going to a job every day, working with the council," and, you know, admire the people, but that's not for me. I'm entrepreneurist. I don't do what the government want me, because the government teach you to go to school and get into debt and get an education. The government teach you to get married to get into debt. The government teach you to get a mortgage and get into debt. And then they come along and then they come and take it off you when you're older. They don't want you to give it to somebody else. So I don't have that. I have financial freedom.
Tie you down.
Nothing ties me. I don't owe anybody anything. I better say, I owe my sister a wee bit of money, just in case. But I don't owe anybody anything. I don't have a mobile contract. I don't have nothing. No. I don't have, I pay everything and I don't have anything. Yeah. And I can take up and go anywhere. I don't have any mortgages. I own every bit what I've got. You know what I mean? And it's some freedom, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to what society teaches you back home, because I've got so many friends that I thought were doing great in their life because they went to university, and I've been to uni.
Oh yeah, what did you study?
I did social work.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? So psychology, sociology.
Oh really?
Well, in social work, you do sociology, psychology, and law. You know, but I had dyslexia and I got all the support. That's when I found out I was dyslexic, because they wouldn't support me in the way I wanted, because a lot of people pretend they're dyslexic because they were just students on benders. So what you had to do was pay for a psychologist report. So that was like, back then it was I think it was about £800. You had to pay for that yourself. Yeah. But once you paid for that, you got the report. And see, when I got the report, they go right back the way we're going back, and they spoke about it because they want to see if it's a gap in your education. Because some people, like travellers and all that, don't go to school, or parents keep them off school.
Mm.
But they seen it was dyslexic with me.
Mm.
So when she diagnosed me, I just burst out into tears, man. You know, I was like, I couldn't stop sobbing because something to me just thought I was stupid.
Mm.
And then she told me all the people who were dyslexic, like fucking all these, Richard Branson's.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
She says the most sharp and intelligent people. And I get it now. I became really, really, really well at talking.
Yeah.
Because I found it difficult to put things down on paper because there's different forms of dyslexia.
Yeah.
People get with left and right, different things. Mine was with writing.
Okay.
You know, and nobody, they tried to get me. So I ended up, I got a scribe, I got software, so I got all my essays in like that. And I cheated with a few and all, know what I mean? I can say that now.
Okay.
Got some of my pals and put some of theirs in to help me. Do you know what I mean? So, and then I did with them, do you know what I mean? But, so, I think for me, I watched, like I say, I was saying, I watch friends who society have told them this is what you do to be doing good, and now they've got a nice house, they've got a marriage, and I don't know if they're happy, but that's just not for me.
No.
30 years or 40 years tied up in the house, and now they're trying to, when they get older, they try to give it to their children, and their children want to stop paying inheritance tax for something that they've been paying all their life, do you know what I mean? And they can't come somewhere for a month. They're stuck in a job that they can't, they don't like, they don't enjoy.
Why are so many people more attracted to comfort than the growth and the challenge in life?
Well, they say it's growing pains, isn't it?
Mm.
You know, it's like anything that I know when I've got some kind of pain, I can identify my body quite good between muscle pain, which I enjoy because I know it's growth, and injury.
Mm.
So being able to identify that, because everything was just pain to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I get this certain pain and it's muscle pain, I really enjoy it.
Yes.
Because I can feel, wow.
You're getting stronger.
Yeah, you're like, this
and
is,
that's perspective. Because some people would say, I train too hard. Then I ain't training that hard no more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I need to take it a little bit easier. Or you can look at it as you just said.
Yeah. So
just like the mind as
growing
well.
pains,
Just like the mind. Like,
it's been able to know what's, because I think fear is, everybody's got fear in their life. But I think if you don't control it, that'll control you, and you walk about looking for fear. Do you know that way when you're driving a car? And I've got it in my bike, and this engine management light keeps going on this motorbike, but it goes off again. And it's come on a couple of times, but I'm constantly watching it, waiting for it to come on. Do you know what I mean? Is it going to come on today and all that? Do you know what I mean? And it reminded me just like fear.
Yeah.
It's not even there, but I'm looking for it. Do you know, because it's going to come on anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Anticipating the negative.
It is an indicator to let you know. Fear is it, because if it didn't have fear, we'd walk out in front of the road and get hit with a car. Do you know what I mean? But, I'm not even on the road and I'm thinking about getting hit with a car. Do you know what I mean? And that's a bit like an irrational fear, and it's like, it's been able to identify what's the right thing, has been able to remove yourself from situations, because I'm great at that now. I'm like, you know what, these people are not for me, and it's like
Grandmaster.
Aye, but every now and again, I've got to clear people, places, and things out of my life. I'll bring the most crackpot nutcases into my life, especially here in Pattaya. You know what I mean, or anywhere who are no good for me, and I'll need to step out. I'll need to go right there, no in my life anymore. And there's certain places I go to that I think, you know what, I really need to know where we're going because it's affecting me mentally and spiritually.
So you like take a step back and go into the old you a little bit.
Not every now and again I'll inventory it and see what's going to come out my life. And there's things that needs to come out my life because it's like it gets me down. So I'll do a clear out.
But right now you're conscious of it. Now previously you wasn't conscious of.
Well, if it disturbs my peace, my peace, when I used to go to bed at night, I went home there and my mum's partner came in, opened the door, and he's like at me, you've went to bed and left that door. I was doing some renovation in the house. He's like, you've left that door opened all night. And I'm like, aye. He's like, no, like you used to have big sticks and locks and all that, and hammers and different things at the side of my bed. I like to sleep at night. You know what I mean? I like a peace of mind where you just be able to go to sleep. You can't buy peace of mind. Do you know what I mean? There's so many people that just don't have it. You know what I mean? So if people disturb my peace of mind and affect me, then it'll just be right out my life quicker than they come in. But I'm a codependent caretaker. I want to help people. I've got this thing where I want to help, and sometimes I've got to, right, it's not for you. Help yourself.
Mm.
you know. So I'm a kind of a people pleaser that
What
way.
are some of the things I know? Like we've touched on the fear, and I'm gonna give you the first question that I started the show with. What is stopping people, or what stops you, or what stopped you from being your best self and developing? I know we've touched on the fear.
The only
But-
other person that stopped me from being my best self is myself.
Mm,
Why? Because myself is the only person that's stopping me from doing it.
mm,
But what myself will tell myself, it's everybody else's fault, and they don't want me, and that's not true.
so it's taking responsibility,
Taking
not being a
responsibility,
victim.
leaving like, my negative thinking. I'm living with a liar and a thief that wants to steal peace of mind from me, and then wants to tell me lies constantly. So that negative nature, I've got a negative nature that feeds on fear.
Mm,
You know, and the negative nature, the more it feeds the fear, the more it kind of isolates me and paralyzes me, and I don't do nothing. So if I'm not doing these practices, then what happens is I become paralysed, and I don't want, and it death by duvet. It's like the duvet or the heat, and I'm not moving a day, and I'm not moving again, and I'm not moving. So what I need to do to protect myself from myself is I need to keep working these 12-step program, because that 12-step program is about being able to see myself coming. Because everybody else used to say to me, that boy's going to end up drunk again, or that boy's going to end up in really big trouble. And I'd be like, do they know?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And before you know it, I would be in this place, and it was like I was always the last to know. But what happens when I work the 12-step program, I can see myself coming, because I couldn't see myself coming. And if I'm keeping my eye on myself, because this is all about inventory and about talking about getting these people in my life, it's not good for me. You know, do I owe any of this? So if I'm doing that, I'm constantly watching myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the only person that's going to stop me from being myself is me.
Yeah.
You know,
You've got
so-
all the knowledge, you've got all the support.
Aye, because
You've
it
got
was
the
always me,
tools,
isn't it?
yeah.
When you end up in prison, it's nobody else's fault.
Mm.
You end up in a bad relationship, it's nobody else's fault. It's self. And self is made up with 3 instincts. We've got our social instinct, we've got our security instinct, and we've got our sexual instinct. And if somebody does something to me and I've got a resentment, you really need to affect one of the instincts or all of them. For example, say I borrow you money and I give you money, and that you say you're giving me it today, but you've not got it. And then I come back again next week, you've still not got it. But then I say to you in front of the girls, where's my money? Why have you not got it? So then you're like, so what you would do is you would go away and probably resent me and say, why did he say that in front of the people? So
Yeah.
probably I would have affected your security instinct because I wanted your money.
Yeah.
And maybe your sexual instinct because there were women there and you wanted to say, I'm a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also your social instinct, because there might have been other people here and you don't want people to know you're hungry for money. So then what starts is you start hating me, resentment. So if I was you, what I would do is I'd go back home and I would go, right, Eddie, who am I resenting? Gav. Right, what instinct is he threatening? Threatening my security, my sexual and my social. What did I do? I didn't pay him my money when I says. So rather than hating you, oh no, Gavin, amends. So I would go back to you and say, I'm really sorry. I never gave you that money.
Yeah,
On time, there it's there. So it frees me up for all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, to protect myself and myself, because myself will destroy any relationship that I've got with people if I allow it.
Sounds like you're studying your emotions, your attitude.
Yeah, well,
and
being
your
able to
triggers.
control your emotional nature, because that's what most alcoholics and addicts use on, is their emotions. But what controls your emotions? Your thoughts. Your thoughts are the things that control your feelings, and your feelings are the things that control your actions. So if I'm keeping my eye on this, that buzzing fridge, then I'm not going to have all this. So my job is to keep my eye on the chatter of the mind, because my mind's either in the future or in the past, and I deal with what I can with in a day. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way I live. I live living a day at a time, which is so much easier for me, because it's just the 12-step program is it's just an amazing thing. I don't work it all the time. I decide I want to do it my way.
Yeah.
And then I end up all bent out of shape, and I end up going, oh,
okay.
You know,
how often do you go?
Do I go? I go as often as I can. You know, I would
Weekly,
go
monthly?
No, daily. I would go.
Really?
I would go daily.
Okay.
There's a meeting on every day in Pattaya.
Oh, okay.
There's one in the morning. There's one in the evening.
Yeah.
There's loads. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
can go daily. Somebody asked me how often did I use drugs, and I says I used every day. And I went, well, maybe you need to go to a meeting every day for a while.
Yeah.
Well, they suggest you go to a meeting every day for 3 months.
Yeah.
And they say the only way to deal with an obsession is to starve it. So if you're bringing your mind to a new place for 90 days, then you're going to have that way of thinking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then I get told to no listen to my mind, train my feet to come to the meeting, even though my mind's saying you shouldn't be there.
Oh, okay.
So-
I like that one. Even
know,
when you want to go to the, don't
gym,
want to go to the gym,
Train your feet
you don't
to
want
come. Train
to
your
do what you need to do.
make your feet come to the gym, even though your
Yes.
head's not telling you. So that's what I would do.
So basically, being stronger than your emotions.
Aye,
And
don't listen to this. And do it. It's all about your action. Action is a missing word. No, action. You know what I mean? Because you can't think your way into a new way of life. You need to act your way into it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because I've sat and fixed the world in my bed and started this business and changed this and what I'm going to do. So I've tried to think my way into a new way of life, but it's impossible. I've had to get up and act my way into a new life because action for me is a magic word. Always. Without action, there's nothing. Do you know what I mean? Even though I don't feel like acting, I just go anyway.
yeah.
By the time I get there, it's always the best workouts they ones or the best meeting when I think I don't want to go.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like
it means more valuable. You don't want to feel like when you go to the work or ill. Do you know what I mean? You
ends up turning into a great night.
It's more valuable. Yeah,
it's
more
like the
valuable.
unplanned nights. You know, the ones where you make a big plan for somebody's birthday, it ends up a disaster, but you just end up having a good night one night. You didn't plan it, and for me, it's a bit like that. It's gone against the grain, and that's the growing pains that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
growing, trudging on. Sometimes my life isn't all about sunshine and roses. A lot of it's just trudging on and putting one feet in front of the other. And I get up in the morning and I'll do my meditation, and then I'll think about some other stuff that I want to help other people on Facebook, and I'll try and inspire them. You know, and sometimes it's not all good. Sometimes it's just real life, what's going on, and people can relate and identify. Do you know what I mean? And if I can help one person that way, then it helps me. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you, Eddie. Is there anything else you'd like to say? I've got a few other things that I want to just run through. Just some last comments. So attack the things that scare you. Attack your fears. Attack your insecurities. And that's where you'll find the most growth in your life. If you carry on doing the simple things that you're comfortable with, you will continue getting the simple things that you currently have right now. Pain and struggle is what brings growth. Run towards it and watch your character and self-worth grow. Not subscribing to anything that doesn't inspire or energize you. The things that changed my life for the better are the most challenging things. Yeah. And some of the exercises that have changed me are reading, meditating, staying with the people that I like to be around, that I want to be, and studying the heroes, people that you look up to. So the friends that you currently have, if you don't look up to your friends that you currently have, you need to get rid of those old friends. Get some new friends. Look up. Planning, plan, morning routine, and a whiteboard. So as Eddie says, Eddie goes to AAs every single day. He used to drink every day. That was his focus. So if you're not putting pen to paper and focusing on where you want your life to go, it's like getting on a motorway, having no end to where you want to go, and just jumping off the motorway, jumping on, and you'll never know if or when you get to your final destination. So yes. And invest in yourself. Number one. The more you invest in yourself, the more valuable you will be to yourself and to the world. So yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming, Eddie Murphy. God bless you, Ed.
Thank you,
God
buddy.
bless. Thank you. Love.